The UK and India have a long history of trade and cultural ties, and how they can build on that foundation to create a mutually beneficial partnership. The first contact between the two countries dates back to the 16th century, when Queen Elizabeth I granted a royal charter to the East India Company, a group of London merchants who wanted to trade with the East Indies, a vast region that included India. The East India Company soon established trading outposts in Bombay, Madras, and Calcutta, where they bought cotton textiles, spices, silk and other goods from Indian weavers, farmers and merchants. At that time, India was a leading manufacturer in the world, with a 25% share of the global GDP. It had a sophisticated economy that offered high-quality products and services to foreign traders. The British were impressed by the skills and craftsmanship of the Indian artisans, and by the wealth and power of the Mughal emperors who ruled over most of India. For more than a century, the British and the Indians enjoyed a mutually beneficial trade relationship, based on respect and cooperation. The British brought silver and gold to pay for Indian goods, and also introduced new technologies and innovations to India, such as railways, telegraphs and modern education. The Indians supplied the British with raw materials and finished products that were in high demand in Europe and other parts of the world. They also adopted some aspects of British culture and values, such as parliamentary democracy, rule of law and human rights. However, things changed in the 18th and 19th centuries, when the British became more aggressive and ambitious in their quest for political and economic domination over India. They exploited their military advantage to defeat their rivals, such as the French and the Marathas, and to subjugate the Indian princes and rulers. They also imposed heavy taxes and tariffs on Indian goods, while flooding the Indian market with cheap British imports. This resulted in the decline of Indian industries, agriculture and trade, and the impoverishment of millions of Indians. The British also interfered with the social and religious customs of the Indians, such as banning sati, the practice of widow burning, and promoting Christian missionary activities. This provoked resentment and resistance among many Indians, who felt that their culture and identity were being threatened by foreign invaders. The most notable example of this was the Indian Rebellion of 1857, also known as the First War of Independence or the Sepoy Mutiny, which was a widespread uprising against British rule by Indian soldiers and civilians. The rebellion was brutally suppressed by the British, who then took direct control of India from the East India Company. This marked the beginning of the British Raj, or the Crown Rule in India, which lasted until 1947. During this period, India was divided into two categories: British India, which consisted of provinces directly administered by the British government, and princely states, which were semi-autonomous regions ruled by local princes who acknowledged British sovereignty. The British Raj brought some benefits to India, such as modern infrastructure, legal system, education and healthcare. It also fostered a sense of national unity among Indians from different regions, religions and languages. However, it also continued to exploit India's resources and people for Britain's own interests. It imposed discriminatory laws and policies that restricted the rights and opportunities of Indians in various fields. It also suppressed any movements or organizations that demanded greater autonomy or independence for India. The most prominent leader of such movements was Mahatma Gandhi. India and the UK are two vibrant democracies and leading economies of the world with impressive advances and capabilities in various sectors. Both countries have a shared history, culture and values, as well as a strong living bridge of 1.6 million Britons of Indian origin. Both countries are also committed to a partnership that delivers for both their people and the world. In May 2021, the Prime Ministers of India and the UK agreed to elevate their relationship to a Comprehensive Strategic Partnership (CSP), and launched a Roadmap 2030 to expand and deepen bilateral cooperation in 5 key areas: people-to-people relationships, trade and prosperity, defense and security, climate action and healthcare cooperation. Let's take a closer look at each of these areas and see how they offer opportunities for both countries to collaborate and benefit from each other's strengths. People-to-people relationships. India and the UK have a long-standing and dynamic connection between their people, which is reflected in the fields of education, research, innovation, culture, sports and tourism. Both countries aim to enhance this connection by facilitating mobility, increasing scholarships, supporting joint research projects, promoting cultural exchanges and celebrating the diversity of both societies. Trade and prosperity. India and the UK have a robust and growing trade and investment relationship, which is worth around £23 billion a year and supports more than 500,000 jobs. Both countries aspire to double their bilateral trade by 2030 and work towards a future free trade agreement that will boost market access, reduce barriers and create new opportunities for businesses in both countries. Some of the sectors that offer potential for collaboration include green technology, digital innovation, healthcare, life sciences, food and drink, advanced manufacturing and financial services. Defense and security. India and the UK share common interests in maintaining a rules-based international system and respect for universal human rights. Both countries also face common challenges such as terrorism, cyber threats, maritime security and regional instability. Both countries intend to strengthen their defense and security cooperation by enhancing military-to-military engagement, conducting joint exercises, sharing expertise and best practices, developing defense capabilities and technologies, and supporting regional security in the Indian Ocean region and the Indo-Pacific. Climate action. India and the UK are global leaders in tackling climate change and promoting clean energy. Both countries are committed to achieving the goals of the Paris Agreement and supporting the COP26 summit in Glasgow in 2021. Both countries plan to collaborate on accelerating the transition to low-carbon economies, developing renewable energy sources, enhancing climate resilience and adaptation, promoting green finance and innovation, and supporting climate action in developing countries. Healthcare cooperation. India and the UK have demonstrated their solidarity and partnership in responding to the COVID-19 pandemic by providing medical supplies, vaccines, expertise and support to each other. Both countries aim to build on this cooperation by enhancing collaboration on health research, innovation, capacity building, digital health, pandemic preparedness and global health governance. These are some of the main areas of cooperation and opportunity for both India and the UK as they embark on a new and dynamic partnership that will benefit not only their own people but also the world at large.